Good morning. This is Mijanur Rahman from Toronto, and this is the video number 12, part 3. And this video number the discussion in this video is it talks about how to understand the financial statements, the forms that the company that filed with the SEC, or in this case also be EDGAR as well. So the Security Exchange Commission, EDGAR, and also any other regulations if they have any user. This is for the company located in the United States, but if the company located to Germany, to France, to any other countries, they might have different regulations. Now, in the USA, there's also, I think it's called FINRA, but anyway, so in Toronto, in Canada, the rules are it's very similar to US. There are certain very subtle differences, but you want to before you actually buy any SPOs, secondary public offerings or initial public offerings, you want to find out a lot of things about this corporation. Now, unfortunately, the video number 9, part 3, I think it's part 2, I suppose. 9, part 2, 10, and 11. Unfortunately, you do not have access to these videos from me, because if these videos were, somehow someone has access to them, and if you get to hear it, that's perfectly fine. But well, it's still the copyright belongs to me for those videos. But anyway, well, for some reason I couldn't open them from my Nokia device. But anyway, let's not get into details of that. But at some point, I'll probably reproduce this video for you. But let's talk about the video number 12, part 3, which is the. Now, remember, I was talking about a corporation, and I want you to actually take a look at this corporation. If you go to NASDAQ, and if you go to NASDAQ, and if you look for the SPOs or secondary public offerings or initial public offerings, you should be able to see it contains a lot of data. Now, often you might not find this information with the SEC, because it is there might be a reason for that. So you'd probably have to get this information from EDGAR. Now, there are some signing costs to that, to get the financial statements from the EDGARs and so forth, but it shouldn't be. But you should be able to get this information from CEDAR or SEC, because these are actually for the purpose of to obtain this information. You don't need to go through the. I feel different about it, but again, they might have a reason for that. But previously, those were available from some documents. You may not get the most current document from the CEDAR, but you should be able to get certain, some documents. I was actually trying to get those documents for the QUIK, the company that I was talking. I was actually talking about on the video number 12, part 1 and part 2. Now, anyway, I looked for that, that particular corporation, and the CEDAR doesn't show any information on their SPOs, but there are information on EDGAR. But anyway, as long as you could actually surf through the NASDAQ website, and you'll see, if you go to on the financial If you click on that, on the financial projections and financial overview, you should be able to get a lot of information. And I have the intention to take you, excuse me, I have the intention to discuss those topics in much more detail, but I want to actually gather some data on this corporation. I was actually trying to be very rather than being a specific. I, I want to be very open so that you could simply apply these concepts to any other corporations. In fact, any corporation that you see on the SEC, anywhere, any stock exchange, anywhere in this universe, anywhere in the face of this earth. So I'm trying to be I'm trying to give you the analysis tools that you can apply to any corporations, anywhere, any stock exchange, any platform, any medium. So it really wouldn't matter because they all follow the same IFRS, right? So if you go to, you'll probably see, especially in the financial market, they actually do follow up with a lot of ratios, a lot of, you'll see a lot of graphs, a lot of charts, a lot of analysis and so forth. But these are all based on the financial statements. So that's why I need you to understand the financial statements very, very well, because these ratios doesn't really mean much to anyone, right? But this certainly provides indication. So that's, for example, you might have a lot of ratios. You probably see by looking at a chart that where this stock for that particular Q, I can't quite remember. They don't have the information here in front of me today because I didn't have any intention to talk about this. But I promise you, I'll probably talk to you about this tomorrow or day after. But meanwhile, I would like you to actually go over the NASDAQ website. The stock I talked about on the video number 12, part 2. I want you to actually, click on the link on the NASDAQ and see, read about that corporation, their financial statements, what they submitted, and so forth. Now, you might not be able to view the Edgar's document, but you are more than welcome to, view anything that is filed on the Securities Exchange Commission. If you look on the left-hand side, once you click on the financial overview or financial projections on that particular stock, so you'd see anything. You see date, you'll see the form number. I want you to click on the form number, okay? You see prospectus, you see a lot of things, a lot of information that's filed. Now, a lot of people, they omit that to read them because I think this is most of the information actually are here. If you read carefully the forms that is filed with the SEC, and rather than actually going through the financial statement that is filed, I think it provide you more information. So on the right hand side, you'll see the PDF, Word documents, Excels, for you to download on those stuff. But I don't see any point at this point, unless you want to incur cost. So unless you want to subscribe the Edgar and then obtain these documents, that's perfectly fine with you. But the same documents can be obtained from the company itself. You could actually call them up, their investor relations, and get those documents, which is actually free for you. Any corporation should be able to provide that for you. So those are for actually those, Edgar are for the financial analyst and commentators and someone who is an economist and professionals that need to access all the time the data in the market and be concurrent about it, and then always want to be on the go, want to find out what's really happening with that particular stock, what's happening with what kind of movement that is taking place, how they're affected and so forth. So they need those documents very fast, very economic and very fast and very efficient way. Not economic, but very efficient way, so that they don't have to waste their time on calling the corporations, their investor relations, have them mail out the documents and so forth. It's really time consuming. So they could simply just go to Edgar and then simply get it from there, all the documents that they require. So that is something that the choice is yours, but again, there might be some documents they may not have at the. Uh, Usually, they're all available with the Securities Exchange Commission, but for some reason I couldn't, or even CEDAR as well. But for some reason I couldn't pull those documents. But unless certain things have changed or not, that's why I'm not actually commenting on the documents. I wanted to call them and find out what changes that took place, because often in the regulatory industry the changes are very imminent and it happens continuously, and I haven't been in communication with them since 2014. So so I didn't really follow much, but because I was dealing with certain things, I was learning some other stuff, and I was extremely busy in that particular area of business and how to keep things compliant and legal and so forth. So, but I want you to actually, if you can review those documents from the NASDAQ and see, if you can understand. If you can understand, that's great. If you cannot understand, that means you need professional help. If you are a financial advisor, often it is difficult for the financial advisor to even follow, because not everyone can be expert on everything, but it's a good idea to get to know. So if you pick one, now I want it to be at some point I will be very specific about a company, so which I would be talking in my book. Now here I want to give you generalized information so that you can apply this for any company, any corporation, any stock, any even mutual funds, right? They all have the financial statements, right? All have they have to fill out the forms for the SEC and any regulations they have. So if it is in the states, then SEC is Securities Exchange Commissions. If it is in and then different industry has in Toronto, in Ontario. They have a different kind of regulation bodies and regulatory agencies are in place, right? So depending on the country zone, and there might be slight differences, but they all follow the very similar rules. The name could be slightly different. So they might deviate slightly from each other, but they have very similar functions, similar similar jobs, similar tasks, similar regulatory tasks, similar duties, obligations, and all the stuff. But with the, I don't want to get into too much detail of this, but so I would like you to read or go through the information that is available at this NASDAQ on their website, or any other website. You could also go to New York Stock Exchange or any other stock exchange where they offer the SPOs and IPOs and so forth, and then you could go through you see a whole bunch of detailed information. Now you have options. You could actually go through the if you look at their prospectus, you have all the details, right? Very detailed, very their mission, vision, their everything is written in a very specific, very legal way. So you'd have very reliable document, right? They will have disclaimer and so forth. But if you read the documents at from an analyst and so forth, it may not give you all the disclaimer, but it would provide you with certain guidance and guidelines and their opinions and so forth. So anyway, it is your call as an advisor, financial planner, or securities advisor, or an analyst, or whatever your rank is, whatever your goal is, whatever your job guidelines are. It's always a good idea to actually go through those forms. Now, these forms are actually filled out often by you see the underwriters and so forth. But and a lot of advisors, they don't really actually. The reason they don't require to know those. But a good financial advisor, a good securities advisors, a good lawyer, a good accountant, I think it's a good idea for anyone to read those documents from A A to Z very thoroughly. So those forms are available. See what they filed, why that particular form didn't, the SCC or the authorities did not approve that, and that tells a lot about that particular corporation. So if you read something else, you'll see in red, it will say that for this reason, this wasn't approved, or they'll place some sort of comment within the guidelines. So read that and the reasoning for that. So try the corporation. It's called QUIK. I think QUIK. Don't quote me today because I don't have the document here in front of me, and I didn't put my Nokia device on a different mode. I usually use a different mode to record, so that I could actually access the website. But I'm actually speaking from a regular camera, so I cannot just stop it and get to the website and probably the information. So my apology, I didn't. So in fact, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I will walk you through very detail. But meanwhile, if you get the chance, please, go through that. And that would probably, if you're following if you're following the video series. If not, then you don't really have to. But it's a good idea if you want to learn. And if you have any information, if you find anywhere that I've made a mistake or provided an incorrect statement, please feel free to please and accept my thank you in advance to give me that information in my email information is there. You could just simply send me an email. Hey, this is what I think, and I might be incorrect on that particular, but not on a speculation. Okay, so something that is factual, something that you think I have made a mistake on stating something, regulatory matters, or understanding a terms or topics. So that is really material. So if I made a mistake, I would be very thankful if you come out and let me know, because and you didn't. I mean, that'd be, and I would appreciate that as a friend, as a colleague, and obviously you're not working together, but in the same area, same industry. I would really appreciate if you have any comments, anything that is, if I may, anywhere in the series that if I made a mistake with the terms and so forth. It's always, we learn as we go along. No matter how much knowledge I have, I cannot possibly know everything about everything. And that's why people work in a team. Even the team misses something, and the team hire another team to find out what mistakes they make, right? So again, I truly thank you if I have made them errors or some sort of mistake on some sort of incorrect, to produce some sort of incorrect statement. I would truly appreciate if you could come out and tell me. So for tomorrow, I'll try to produce the video for tomorrow somewhere between an hour and a half or so. But today it would be very short video, just a notification. So thank you, and hope to talk to you tomorrow. Hope to produce that video tomorrow, and hopefully by that time you will have more knowledge about this company that we want to talk about. We don't want to talk about that particular company, but I wanted to get the idea so that you have the idea, understanding what to look for, what to expect, what to find out, what kind of information you should be finding. Even the ratio doesn't tell everything. So that's why you'll see after a lot of companies, they use graphs so the investors can understand. So again, the forms that are filed with the SCC or the regulations, they are in variations of legals. These forms are often filed by the underwriters, and if not underwriters, then the investment dealers. If it is not the investment dealer, then the company itself directly, their legal or their accounting firm. But most of the time, if it is not the accounting firm, or the underwriters of that particular offerings, then then the regular day these forms are filed by the corporation itself, in combination with their legal team and the accounting and financial department. So till tomorrow, have a wonderful night. And today was June 23rd, and the time is now roughly about 1:47. Thank you, and have a wonderful day, Sunday. Have a happy Sunday. Thank you.